So happy Wednesday. We had a situation that came up that I thought would be really interesting to throw up here as today's video. Since I didn't have time to do a Q&A this morning, we'll just kind of build this out. So we had a pelvic orientation that was really interesting to demonstrate, and so we're going to take you through that so you can see something that's underappreciated, which is how much movement actually occurs underneath one of your true measurements that you see as being in this single plane, but underneath it we've got a whole change in orientation change of the pelvis. So we had somebody that came in with some pretty remarkable external rotation deficit of about 20-25 degrees on the right, with an apparently normal looking 60 degrees on the left. And so that puts us at this really hard oblique kind of a position where the right side actually sits a little bit more forward than the left side. So the pelvis is tipped forward and then it's up on an oblique axis, right? Now, and he had a lot of internal rotation on the left side as well, right? And so now, if he's on the table though, and I tip him up on this oblique axis, and you take him through the hip flexion, what's going to happen is he's actually going to roll on the oblique axis, and so what he ends up with is what was it, 130 degrees of hip flexion on one side, and then only 90 on the other. And so the thing that we have to recognize is that we get this oblique shift of the pelvis as you're moving through the range of motion, and it's very, very difficult to see. But the leg can cause this weight shift through the pelvis as you're moving through the range of motion. So, it's one of those reasons why you might get like a crazy straight leg raise where the pelvis actually rolls away from the straight leg raise. It's the same kind of thing that we saw here with the hip flexion. So it's just something that has to be appreciated in regards to when you're taking your measurements on the table. So this will happen with shoulder range of motion. This will happen with hip range of motion in any number of different ways. Some of the other things that you might see is if you have somebody in sideline and you're doing hip abduction, adduction measures, you'll see all kinds of orientations in 3 dimensions as well. You have to be able to appreciate those measures or those adjustments as part of your measurement, because some of them are not true. So maybe you're adducting or abducting out of plane, if you will, and you're getting a rotation or a reorientation of the pelvis that skews your measurement. Yeah. So again, it's just a really important thing for people to recognize and appreciate that there's a lot of movement going on underneath your measures. So hopefully that's useful to you. I will see you guys tomorrow. Coaches and Coffee conference call tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Join us. See ya.